And basically, specifically, what scared me when I read this article from Michel Vastel in L'Actualité of March 15th, 2003, was that the plan is to give Haiti as a gift in 2004 a new police and a democratic army. Okay. The Haitian people, as far as I know, never asked for a return of the army. And this is exactly what we see happening today. Okay, Jean Fils-Aimé, you're familiar with this story.
I'm not agree with my colleague. I think that when we are talking about coup, we need to be careful. I think that if there were a referendum, let's say 5 weeks before Aristide left, because I really think that he left, I think that Aristide will get something like 25% for him, and the other, I think 75% of the Haitian people will say no to him.
Can I respond to that?
Let me finish, because
Please, go ahead.
I'll let you go ahead. You know, it is true that 1 year ago, the foreign minister of France, foreign minister of Canada, Mr. Paradis, and foreign minister of the States, Mr. Colin Powell, they have met in Ottawa, according to an article written by Michel Vastel. And there will be said there that their plan for Haiti is to put Haiti under international, power. I think that has been said because of Aristide, behavior.
But Jean, did that not alarm you that this meeting was going on in a foreign country with powers that had nothing to do with the people who had elected Aristide? Was that not alarming to you at all that Ottawa was hosting such a meeting?
Can I inject something, Carol?
I think that it is a just question to address. When we remember that Aristide has been brought back to Haiti by, the American forces.
But he was elected before he was brought back.
I know, but we have to remember what election is. Election is a kind of contract between a people and a candidate. And according to this contract, the candidate has made some promises, and when he didn't, realize them, we have to wonder whether he still has to be maintained on power. Don't remember.
Of course, he has to be maintained in power. The people's vote must be respected.
Okay, we're going to discuss this, but we have to go to commercial at this point. Okay. We will get into this.
I would like to finish
some of the
this
record
point.
Aristide. We'll let you finish that point when we come back. Please don't go away. We're right back after this.
Thank you.
Now, it's time to move from one elected president to another one. We have to have elections.
Do they see me all the time?
One man, one vote. This
all
is a democratic principle. Few people want to respect that principle.
Quand je parlais, il faisait ça.
Can we just talk about...
Hi, Toronto.
Hi, Jean. Just we're gonna a little plan here when we come back after the commercial.
Okay.
It's going well. I think I know that I know you have a lot to say because I can see it in your eyes. So don't hesitate from jumping in and debating the points because I think that's important. Secondly, I know you wanted to finish the point you were making, Jean, Montreal, but I think what we need to get into in this next pack is a discussion about whether Aristide fulfilled his promises election promises, whether he didn't. If he didn't, who and what was he responsible for his own problems? Were outside forces the source of his grief? This is where I would like to take the debate after the commercial, if that's good with everybody.
It's okay.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Kidnapped. We did not force him onto the airplane. He went onto the airplane willingly, and that's the truth. And it would have been better for members of Congress who have heard these stories to ask us about the stories before going public with them so that we don't make a difficult situation that much more difficult.
Welcome back to Counterspin. We're talking about the crisis in Haiti and the removal of Jean-Bertrand Aristide from power. I want to start the second part with Clotilde. You were a former supporter of Jean-Bertrand Aristide. What made you change your mind?
Well, I supported President Aristide from 87 to 93. I was very actively involved in his campaign And then I left Haiti. I was thrown out of Haiti by the military in 1992, and I worked with him for 1 year from 1992 to 1993 here in Washington. And I decided to leave President Aristide at that time, and I guess I'm pretty sure I was one of the first ones to, break with the ranks, because mainly I had felt that at that point President Aristide had lost focus. He was kind of caught up in the kind of celebrity that surrounded him and surrounded, the whole coup and the post-coup period. And I was very uncomfortable too with the way President Aristide kind of thought that he could use his popularity as a weapon of intimidation.
Did he deliver on his promises, Clotilde?
Well, at that time, there wasn't enough, he hasn't stayed enough in power. He was only there for 7 months, so we could still give him the benefits of the doubt. But later, as I followed him, and I've remained very involved, in the opposition in Haiti since, since after his return. President Aristide has definitely not delivered on any front. I remember the 3 main pillars, he used to call them, of the campaign, of the whole Lavalas movement were competence, justice, and transparency. And his administration, his governing style has been of absolutely no transparency, of corruption. He never took any stand against corruption. He never really delivered justice. The most famous
I don't understand how these statements
let me finish.
Could be made about justice or the
truth. We get the idea. I want to get because Marguerite, you are also a supporter. You are still a supporter of Jean-Bertrand Aristide. Did he deliver on his promises?
No, I want to characterize what I am. I am and stand for the right of the Haitian people to choose their own leaders, to decide who should rule them, to have self-determination without this cycle of debt, dependence, and foreign dominance, which has ruled us since we started. Since 1825, we started out with this debt from the France, and it has gone on. Haitians have been fighting to be an independent black rule country for almost 200 years, and it wasn't until 1990 that the people finally had a voice in government. For your public must understand that we're not talking about abstracts here. We're talking about flesh and blood. This opposition is part of this 200-year oppressive individuals who have maintained power and refused to pay taxes, refused absolutely to be subject to Haitian law and Haitian justice.
Marguerite, to disconnect the question, did Jean-Bertrand Aristide deliver on his promises?
There has been successes in Aristide's government that have never been replicated by any other administration before, and may I list them for you?
Well, I think this could take a lot of time if it's such a long list. I just want to hear some from other people. Do you feel, Jean Montreal, that he delivered?
I believe we have in Haiti an electoral democracy, and that electoral democracy was moving towards participation and setting forth some justice apparatus. However, we have had a lot of obstructions, all from the Europeans who want to dominate and control, along with their Duvalier, Tonton Macoutes, which now they have.
I think that Aristide is a preacher. And I've never been a supporter of Aristide, but I've been an observer of Aristide's, so to speak, emergence since 87, when I've been a student at college in Cap Haitien. I remember when he entered the city, and he spoke a wonderful speech. And from this time, I've got used to observe Aristide. And for me, Aristide is a preacher, and there is no comparison between his sermons, his preachings, and his life. And I think that the only promises that Aristide has made is his own personal security. When we consider that Aristide is has invested something like 9 million a year for his own personal security, and whereas in our general hospital there is no drugs to provide to the patients. We need to wonder as Haitian people, why do we have him under power? It seems that I go back to my concept of election. Election is a contract.
And did you wonder when Duvalier was killing 50,000 Haitians, were you there wondering why he wasn't?
That was the same question. One of my colleagues.
I was there wondering.
I think that
I was there wondering.
Between Jean-Claude Duvalier and Aristide, we have only reproduction. I think that Aristide has just reproduced
I certainly
Duvalier's regime.
We have had more schools built in Haiti since the people have had a voice in government than in the whole 200 years when the elite was running Haiti.
Which schools are we talking of?
We have Creole now as a language for the people. We have literacy rate gone from 85% to 48%, which has never happened in Haitian history.
At least during Duvalier's regime, we had delegation. With Aristide, everything has to do. Everything has to see with him. Only Aristide's friends. Can I finish? Only Aristide's friends can have a job, can have a ministry during his regime. Whereas during Duvalier's, for example, there were delegations. Under Aristide, we have incompetencies. The guys who were on power were only Aristide's friends.
Okay, I want to get Jean-Saint
This is actually, I know what I'm talking about.
Just know Jean-Saint here, please.
Listen. This is a conversation that the Haitian people that have the right to vote should have the opportunity to have. Not us here standing in Washington, in New York, in Ottawa. The people of Haiti
fully Haitian and I have the right to vote in Haiti.
They have the right to choose their own leaders. Now, whether Aristide has delivered all of his promises is a question you can ask of any leader. Has Jean Chrétien delivered all his promises?
But do you remember that Sheila
delivered all his promises?
Do you remember that Sheila had to resign because she has promised to abolish the taxes?
See, that's the problem. We never let the people express themselves. I was in Haiti. I was in Haiti just the other day. I just came back January 28th. And my 3.5-year-old was watching TV for the first time. He saw a sea of black people with black heroes. He was singing the name of Dessalines, of Toussaint Louverture.
This is for the anniversary.
For the 200th anniversary of something very important to the world. The 200th anniversary of the end of racial slavery on this continent. People don't remember that France did not abolish slavery. France was talking about liberty, equality, fraternity, and they had slaves. The United States, the same thing. But we need to understand what happened. At that celebration, there was no head of state from Canada, from the French, from the British. Only one man was there as a head of state. It was the president of South Africa. Why? Because he understood that this wasn't about Jean-Bertrand Aristide, but about the people of Haiti.
John Montreal.
Because Aristide wanted to have, a wonderful manifestation on the first day of the year. But you have just talked about freedom.
What Aristide has to see with
what Aristide
Brother, are you Haitian?
Yes, I am.
I don't get it.
Are you black?
This was 200 years of our
I don't know
history.
whether you can see me. I am a black, I am a nation, but being a nation doesn't mean that I have to support Aristide, even though during his regime,
we're not talking about Aristide, we're talking about the revolution against slavery.
We are talking about Aristide,
let's talk about revolution. What Aristide has to see with our revolution? During Aristide regime, people couldn't manifest against his decisions. People couldn't march in the streets because of him.
That is so untrue. That is such a fabrication.
I have them on videotape.
CNN reports
if I can finish, the only thing Aristide has done is to arm, the chimère, to terrorize the population.
Okay, Marguerite.